Hi, my name is Steve Lange. My job at the BSO is to play the second trombone. There are 3 trombones in an orchestra. There's the principal trombone, there's the second trombone, and there's the bass trombone. So we have 3. We are part of the brass section. And in the brass section, there are trumpets, French horns, and a tuba. And the trumpets and the horns, they take care of the higher notes, and the trombones and tuba are what's known as the low brass. I started playing this trombone in the 6th grade. I'll never forget when I went into the instrument demo room and found all of these different instruments that I could play. And I saw the biggest one that they had in that room. Not that it's the biggest in the orchestra, but the biggest that they had. And I didn't know any difference. I was like, I want the biggest one. Give me the biggest trombone. Imagine what my parents would say when I brought this thing home. Yes. So the other reason why I wanted to play trombone was it was my ticket out of another class in 6th grade. At the time, I was very, let's say, insecure about my voice. Well, choir was the other option. I could be in choir, or I could play a big trombone. I think I'll go with the trombone. And which is kind of ironic, because now here I am playing in front of lots of people, thousands of people every year. It's just funny how things work out that way. I almost quit the trombone several times, and I'm really glad I didn't. I was really heavily involved in sports, and it took a while for me to realize that playing the trombone in a group is very much like a sports team. We're all in it together, and when we go play a concert or a rehearsal, we all have to do our job, kind of thing. So I really started to very much enjoy that. The role of the trombones in an orchestra provides nobility, grandeur. It can be poetic, it can be solemn, it can be beautiful. There's so many things about what a trombone can do, not only inside of an orchestra, but also out. We can do lots of different things. We can play marches, we can play in rock bands, we can play in marching bands, we can play jazz ballads, there's so many different things we can do in so many different ways that we can create beautiful music on a trombone. So for all of those reasons, this is why I picked the trombone and why I think it was the right instrument for me. If you choose the trombone, you're probably not going to get an instrument just like this. This has some extra tubing on it. You're probably going to get an instrument like this one. And this is a student trombone. It doesn't have this extra valve tubing. This is called a straight trombone. Actually, this is called the bell section. And you put it together like this. You take the bell section and you take the slide, and it comes together like this. And you don't want it out here. You kind of want it about right here so that it forms kind of like a V shape. And then you take this nut and you screw it in like that. And a lot of them, this one, happens to have a nice little plastic thing to help make it a little bit more comfortable to hold. So you put your hand in like this, your finger up like this, and you got a place for your thumb, and we're missing something. So don't forget this. This is called a mouthpiece. And the mouthpiece, what we do with the mouthpiece, you can see kind of in there, it has a nice little cup there, and it's not very heavy, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna create vibration, and to create vibration, we're gonna buzz our lips. It's really kind of funny. Right, so we buzz a particular vibration, and that vibration goes all the way down through the slide, all the way out through the tuning slide, and out the bell, and it sounds like this. Right? And then the slide itself is really important. We have to be very, very careful about our slide, because we want our slide to be able to move back and forth without any friction at all. And so what ends up happening a lot of times with student trombone players is that they forget to maintain their slide. So let's talk about how we're going to maintain our slide. A couple things that we need. We need some trombone slide lubricant. I choose this, but there's a lot of different kinds. There's cream, there's this, but this is really easy. And so all you do is we've got to be very careful with this, okay? But we just put a little bit here, a little bit there, and work it through. And the lubricant, it feels so much better already. This is my son's trombone, and he hasn't played it for many, many years, and so this needed to be done, okay? Then the next thing we need is some water. And the cool thing about being a trombone player is that you can bring a water bottle on stage. This is a lot of fun. This is called a bone bottle. It's just water inside. So you have to remember not to squirt your neighbor, just squirt the slide. And what happens here, so the water beads up and creates kind of just extra lubrication. And so we want our slide to move very, very effortlessly all the way through. And the reason for that is because when we hold the trombone, we want 100% of the weight of the horn on our left side. If we have any weight of the horn with our right arm, you're going to see this, you know. And so we don't want to have that. So we just want to be nice and gentle right here. Now, if something happens to your slide and it gets dented or it gets out of shape, don't try to fix it yourself. Call your teacher, okay? And we'll get it to a brass repairman. These brass repairmen are out there to make sure that these tubes are completely parallel all the way down, and it takes a special person to do that. Don't do that on your own. The only thing you really need to do is make sure that that's working well. And the other thing you might need to do every once in a while, and I'm going to do this on my trombone, is you might need to snake out the insides of your instrument. And you should do that about once a month. And that's very easy to do. And you can get something like this or a little flexible brush. You take the slide off and you go into the shower, put some water in there, and just snake it out gently. That's all you have to do, just once a month. The safest place for your trombone is either in your hands or in its case, okay? Never put your trombone down if you can help it. Never put it down like this. Try not to put it down like this. Guess what? Someone's gonna trip over it. It always happens. Don't be that person to leave it out for someone to trip on, and then you've got another costly repair. So this is a trombone stand. If you want to grab that, leave it at home, then your trombone's always out for you to play. Get that. But the safest place is in the case or in your hands. So you might be asking, how do I practice? What do I have to practice? When I finally get my trombone, what do I have to do to practice? Well, first thing I would do is make sure that you've put your trombone together correctly, and you're safe with that, and you're in a place where you can't hit anything else. Carpet's the best place in case the slide falls off, okay? So, how to practice? Start slowly. When I was a beginner, I was given a method book. It came with the trombone. I'm sure you'll be able to get one from your band director or your teacher. And it starts off with very simple exercises, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to learn the craft of how to produce sound on a trombone, and we're also learning rhythm, notes, and just how to start expressing ourselves on the trombone. So the first thing that I did when I was a kid, I had a cap of 15 minutes. I only practiced for 15 minutes, and that's all I needed, but it was once a day. And that was something that was doable and manageable, and that's something I could do. Today, you might be asking, well, what kind of practice routine do I have? And I usually end up practicing, probably no more than about 2 hours a day. But I break it up into lots of chunks. And so when you play the trombone, it's not about the length of time that you play, it's more about the number of times that you get to the trombone. And the more times that you get to the trombones in a day, the more rest that you can have here, and the more times you can be deliberate about what it is that you're trying to achieve on the trombone. So I think that's really important. So you don't need to practice 2.5, 3 hours and completely, lose the rest of your day playing the trombone or any other instrument for that matter. All you have to do is just pick it up a couple times a day and you'll be fine. That's all I did. So this method book that I had a series of exercises in it that took me through logical exercises so that I could improve. Some of those exercises I will demonstrate for you now. One of them is just creating long tones. Understanding that your air needs to go through the trombone and your lips need to vibrate. So one of them is something like this. Oh, one more thing. A metronome. This is a metronome. Everyone should have one, okay? So let's put it on 72. I'm just going to put it behind me. This here is an exercise called long tones. And so basically, it's 4 counts of an F, then 4 counts of an E. I go down to second position for that. And then I go down to third position, and fourth position, fifth, sixth, and then seventh. That's what it sounds like. Now, another exercise that my teacher had me do at the very beginning was learning what a slur was and learning the placement of certain notes. On a trombone, there's a lot of different ways to make the pitch different. We can go up, we can go down. When I'm in first position, right here, I can change the speed of my lips and the speed of my air to change notes. And this sounds like this. So there's 3 notes right there, but I can make lots of notes this way. So lots of notes, all in one position, right? So one of the things that we started out with when I was a student was just learning how to play simple slurs. And then I'll go down to second position. And so on, right? And then we can increase our flexibilities as we get a little bit more advanced and progress just a little bit more. And so on, and you can work your way down there. Now, I have a written warm-up that I do every day, and it looks like this. I actually wrote this out, okay? These aren't anything special, but these are just some exercises that I've learned over the years. And when it's on paper like this, I tend to do it. And I think that's the important thing. So these are just a bunch of different things that I like to focus on every day. Now, of course, for you as a beginner, you're gonna warm up to these things. And eventually you'll be able to do all of this stuff. But this takes me about 10-15 minutes. And then I'm ready to go for the rest of the day. And then I can go and pick up my horn again and focus on different aspects of what I need to do to perform my best each week. I think this goes without saying, but having a good working instrument is really important for your rehearsals, because you don't want to take time during a rehearsal or a lesson futzing with a slide that isn't working properly. So that takes time away from everyone else. So do your best to make sure that your horn is ready to go, that you're there early and you're ready to go and you're warmed up. Some of the other things that you might need are, well, your music, your sheet music. Make sure that you have that and that you're ready to go, and a music stand if required. Also really important is a pencil, make sure you have a pencil with you. You should have a pencil with you at all times. And the reason for the pencil, and this one gets forgotten a lot, but when you have a pencil, you're able to write down on your paper things that you might need or you missed, or maybe the band director might say, oh, by the way, A flat's in 3rd position, not 4th. Oh, okay. You can write down a 3 over your note. It's important. I've learned to write down all sorts of stuff in my music, and that helps me perform better, helps remind me, oh, to stay on track. Also, come to your rehearsals, lessons, and concerts with an open mind and a positive attitude and ready to have fun.